This is the last part of the video because yesterday ran out of space on the phone. I was doing a lot of talking to guys, doing a lot of talking to you guys. No, I'm not crying. It's just extremely cold out here in DC right now, and the wind is blowing and it's causing it to go in my eye. But this will be the last one, the last installment of my commentary. I am no longer over at the Lincoln Memorial today. I just decided to get up and come over here to the district court building again because it's the closest and it's cold, and I don't want to be out here this long finishing this up. But as I was saying, yeah, African Americans tend to blame everybody for their faults, especially white Americans for their faults. One thing I would like to say is this: these white Americans that are living here today are not the white Americans who came over on the Mayflower and the Santa Maria and those, on those ships. They're not the same ones. They're the descendants of those, but that's like generations, 4 or 5 generations removed. More than 4 or 5 generations. What am I talking about? We're talking about almost 100 generations removed, 200-300 generations removed. These people, they're the way down descendants, way down the line of those who brought us over here. So therefore, holding these individuals accountable for what happened back then is just asinine. It makes no sense whatsoever. I've been through things where people told me get over it. I've been through some really devastating events in my life, some really devastating circumstances in my life, to the point where it's, where usually people who are compassionate would usually, or even people who aren't compassionate, the average stranger on the street would hear about it and say, "Oh man, are you okay? Like, is there anything I could do to help? Is there anything that I could do to, support you or anything like that?" That's just terrible what happened to you, But instead of people saying that, people say, "Well, screw you. You made mistakes in your life. Who are you to get any type of sympathy from anyone, right?" That's what it was basically said. So it's like, get over it. Okay, so my thing is to black people, get over it. You were enslaved. Your people were beaten. Your people were slaughtered. Your people suffered and struggled and made to feel like they weren't human, made to feel like they weren't worth anything. Get over it. At the end of the day, you can't carry that with you the rest of your life. You'll never be nothing if you be like that. You'll never be nothing. You'll only be making them right. I heard LL Cool J say one time that his grandmother told him, and I hope he doesn't mind me quoting this, but this is something that he said that affected my life in a real way. It affected my life in a concrete way, in a solid way that made me get up one day and say, you know what? His grandmother is absolutely right. Who am I to run around here sulking and having an attitude about my condition? It's time for me to do something about my own condition and stop waiting for someone to do it for me instead of doing it myself. Because I have the ability. I have 2 arms, 2 legs. And his grandmother said this, and I quote, maybe it's paraphrased, but every morning that you leave, this is what she used to tell him from what he said. Every morning that you leave the house, you have an opportunity to prove your naysayers wrong. She might have said white people, but I'm going to say naysayers. Every day that you get up and you get out here in the street, you have an opportunity to prove these people wrong about you. Sorry, it's cold out. No, I'm not crying. If I was crying, I wouldn't be on camera with it. That's something that you do anyway. But yes, every morning you have an opportunity to get out here every day and prove your naysayers wrong. By doing what? By doing the right thing, by being successful, by making the right choices, making the right decisions, by not letting someone lead you, and by leading yourself, by reading, by studying, by researching, by doing your own homework, by doing your due diligence, by not letting someone put you down, by not putting someone else down, by helping someone else out, by sometimes letting people help you out, sometimes, depending on how they're helping you, and what they want in return. Because sometimes people don't help you unless they want something in return. I knew a person. The wind is blowing, so I'm gonna walk up here because I know that gets into the wind is blowing, so I'm stand here. I know a person, a woman, and I wouldn't give her this much fame usually by saying this, but I have to say this because it makes a really good example. I know a woman who said that a guy was gay, and she used to spread a lot of rumors about him. And the reason she used to spread these rumors about him is because she liked him and he didn't like her back. So she used to give him an ultimatum. She said, she basically was like, I'm gonna go ruin your reputation with everyone that you know until you like me. And that's just childish. There are children that are younger than, there are children that are younger than 10 years old, right? That would never consider something like that. I'm gonna ruin your reputation. Look how immature that is. Listen to how immature, listen to how silly that sounds. I'm gonna ruin your reputation. That is so juvenile. I'm gonna ruin your reputation with everyone that you know until you like me. This person, same person, runs around telling her friends that she's a princess. She wants all of her friends to be jealous of her. She thinks that she's this and she thinks she's that. She thinks that she's gold material, that she's marriage material, that she's basically everything, every dream a man would. She's everything that a man would dream of. That action alone, by her trying to destroy a person that doesn't agree with her or doesn't agree with her view of herself, that alone shows that she doesn't have the character of a princess, because a princess would care less about what someone thinks of her, broke or rich, successful or not, right? How can you say that you're a princess when you're walking around here acting like somebody that's disenfranchised? I would expect that to come from, I would expect a comment or an action like that to come from someone who needs a little bit of self-esteem pick-me-ups or a little bit of confidence boosting or something like that. I expect that to come from somebody who doesn't have anything or never had anything in their life, and that's the reason why they act like that. I don't expect that to come from someone who feels like she's educated or he's educated or feel like he's intelligent or she's intelligent. Sometimes the world doesn't listen. They don't care. And I'm starting to understand this at 42 years of age. As I said before previously in one of my videos, my grandmother, rest in peace, rest in paradise, told me when I was locked up, this was like in the early 2000s, before I got out of prison, she told me, she said, Andrew, it's getting rough out here. It's a lot different from when I was a child. It's a lot different from when you was a child. It's a lot different from when you went in. These people out here, they're getting colder. Their hearts are getting colder. They don't care. One of the people that she was actually impressed by was, I tend to not want to say his name because a lot of people have these weird obsessive thoughts about this guy. To me, he was just a human being with a little bit of with a little talent, with a lot of talent, but he was just a human being that was very educated, very smart. But to these people, he was some type of god that they had to worship. Anyway, he was a famous rapper, and he used to do a lot of interviews. And the interviews that he would do, he floored me of how intelligent this guy was and how wise he was beyond his age. He was a very young individual, but for a young individual, this guy could sit down with the best of them and philosophize with the best of them. His ideology about life and what he thought about humans and what he thought about people, what he thought about society and what he thought about the world and the world history was amazing. It was strictly amazing. But once again, the world being the world was, no matter how intelligent he was and no matter how wise he spoke, people just sat there and listened, but they still didn't care about him. They didn't care about him so much that they ended up murdering him. Ended up murdering this guy. How is it that you're looking for someone to lead you? How is it that you're looking for someone to lead you? You understand? And the person that you want to lead you, you murder. Yesterday I was talking about the prophets and how the prophets come back, or the prophets come here with a mission, and their mission is to let people know that they are going astray, to bring them back full circle, to bring them back into balance. And it's not a bad thing. People act like it's like getting slapped or beat up or something like that, or getting shot. Hearing the truth is like getting shot to them. It's like, please, I don't want to hear the truth. Oh my God, don't tell me that. Come on, man, it's not getting shot. It's not like getting hung. It's not like losing your life. It's the truth. It's just words. Jesus Christ. But some people, man, it's just like, I can't hear it. I can't hear it. Oh my God. I'm going to die if you tell me that I need to fix my life. I'm going to die if I fix my life. I'm going to actually die. I'm not going to be the same person anymore. But anyway, going back to this guy, this amazing guy, I used to see him draw crowds. There's footage of him drawing crowds of almost hundreds of people every time he spoke. And he would say some of the most amazing things that make so much common sense, just so intellectual to be his age and to be African American. I hate saying that because it sounds like African Americans are not supposed to sound like that. We are supposed to be intelligent, but for him, it was some type of surprise. It was some type of shock for America to hear a guy speak like that. I used to sit there and I used to listen to him talk, and I used to see the expression on people's faces. They used to snicker like, "Who does he think he is?" And I used to sit there and he's an intelligent young man, but they didn't care. They made fun of him. They mocked him. They played up this role as if they were better than him. Like what he was saying was nothing. He ain't nothing. He trash. He garbage. And for me, I said to myself, after studying this guy, I said to myself, would I want to be this guy? If I was this guy and he's passed away now, rest in paradise. If I was this guy and I came back and I heard all of these people say bad things about me and call me stupid and call me ignorant and call me all of these bad names and had these bad perceptions of me, would I would have done it all over again? Like he somewhat sacrificed his life for these people, but they walk around as if it doesn't matter, right? So if he woke up and he saw this, and he saw that the state of the same people that his death was supposed to wake people up and make them think a little different and be a little better, if he woke up and saw them right now that they're still in the same state that they're in, that they was when he passed away, still in the same state, had the same mental capacities, and hasn't changed at all, hasn't changed their circumstances or situation at all, would I have done it? He probably wouldn't have. Being as intellectual as he was, with the type of common sense that he had, he probably would deduce that he would have done it differently. He wouldn't have done it the same way. So I say to myself, what is it worth? I was talking to you yesterday about Thaddeus Akasiasko, or Kosciuszko, however you choose to pronounce it, and the will that he gave up, the will he wrote, and what he gave his African American companions, and what he meant, what his intention was towards African Americans and slaves at the time. If he woke up right now from his eternal slumber, as a matter of fact, most individuals that were assassinated, martyred for the cause, if they woke up right now and saw this place the way it is, and saw these people. A lot of people say, the world isn't that bad. You have this pessimistic view of the world. I have literally watched, well, one of these individuals that I was talking about before, I have literally watched the whole entire world say that they love one person and allowed him to be assassinated. How can a whole world of individuals know you and say that they love you and say that they care about you and that you mean the world to them? Why would they allow you to be assassinated? Right? I've literally seen this in my own lifetime. I've seen individuals who are influential be assassinated. And I've heard conspiracy theories. I don't know if they're true or not, but I've heard conspiracy theories that the people that were the most close to that individual were the ones who plotted it. Now, how can a whole world see you, be influenced by you, and say that they love you, and allow someone close to you to assassinate you, to martyr you? It just doesn't add up. Not to me. So is it worth it? No, it's not worth it. And the world will say, well, you're going to be broke. You're not going to be this. You're not going to be that. And you're not going to be this. Jesus stood on a mountain and Satan, the devil, Lucifer, or whatever you want to call him, whispered in his ear and he showed him all of the kingdoms of the earth. It's just like this. It's just like me doing this. You can have all of this. This is what he told him. You can have all of this. This is what the devil told Jesus. You can have all of this. You can have everything. All of these kingdoms belong to me. You can have all of this if you just bow down and worship me. I give you everything that you've ever wanted. You can have all the gold, all the jewels, all the natural resources. You can have all the kingdoms. You can have all the thrones. You can have all the governments. You can have all the women that you want, all the men that you want, whatever you choose, all the drugs that you want, whatever you want. I give you all of that if you just bow down and worship me. And you know what Jesus' answer was? Jesus' answer was, according to the New Testament in the Bible, King James Version, I'm quoting, "Get thee behind me, Satan." Right? Why did he say that? Because according to the Christian theology, Jesus Christ was the Son of God. According to Christian theology, some Christian beliefs, not all. I have to make sure that I put emphasis on that. Some Christian beliefs. There are different denominations of Christianity. The Roman Catholic version is he's the Son of God. So if he's the Son of God and God created all this, why would I allow the devil to tell me that he'll give me something that I already own? I'm the heir to the throne. Right? The obvious answer is, get behind me, man. Shut up. I own it all. If Christian theology is correct, if he was the Son of God, the Son of all that created all of these things, in the book of Genesis it said God created it all. So if God created it all, who is Satan to tell Jesus that he would give him everything that Jesus already owns? That's why it's so easy to just dismiss the guy. Get out of here. Belongs to me anyway. You may have it because I don't want it. You know why? Because I'm letting everybody be free. I don't want it. I'm a king maker, not a king. Right? I'm allowing everybody to be free. I don't want it all because that's greed. That's one of the 7 deadly sins. That's greed. And greed is something that creates a lot of problems amongst a lot of people. It's a cousin of jealousy, if you ask me. It's just my humble opinion. However, getting back to Kosciuszko or Kosciuszko, you write this beautiful will and you give it to your confidant and you ask your confidant to execute this, and you pass away not knowing if he executed it or not, but you are thinking that he will. You come back, say 10 or 12 generations later, through the process of reincarnation or whatever you want to do it, some type of miracle happens where someone raises you from the dead. But you raise from the dead and you look around and you see these African Americans in these cities. Low unemployment, Sometimes it's not always because the white man made them unemployed. Low unemployment, crime ridden, black on black murder at an all-time high across the nation. Almost 3 point something million of them locked up in prison in the United States prison system. Drugs, drug abuse, domestic violence, sexual violence of all types, bad relationships. I wonder, what is the statistic of marriage to